Okay, good morning. So class, um, let's stand and pray. Okay, so who is absent? Very good. So let's sing the three states of matter.
Alright, everybody, are you ready for the three states of matter song? Here we go. Solid, liquid, and gas. The three states of matter, they all have mass. Solid, liquid, and gas, they all have mass. Oh yeah. A solid is firm, a solid is hard. Just like the rocks in your backyard. A liquid is wobbly, a liquid is loose. Just like water or milk or juice. A gas is the trickiest one to me because a gas is something that you cannot see. The helium gas in your balloon makes it float all around the room. Come on! Solid, liquid, and gas. The three states of matter, they all have mass. Solid, liquid, and gas, they all have mass. One more time, you guys, come on! Solid, liquid, and gas. The three states of matter, they all have mass. Solid, liquid, and gas, they all have mass. Alright.
Okay, so for today, I am your teacher Ash. So let's discuss the properties of matter, mixtures, and characteristics. So, what is matter? So, in chemistry, study of the composition, structure, and the properties of matter and the changes it undergoes. So, the two properties of matter are mass and volume, which is the mass or the amount of quantity of matter, and the volume or the amount of space that is occupied. So, therefore, matter is anything that has mass and takes up space. So all matter is composed of atoms. So atom is extremely small chemically invisible particle, and atom is Greek for that which cannot be divided. So there are so many different kinds of matter which are organized by their composition and properties. So what is composition is the types and amounts of atoms that make up a sample of matter, whereas the properties are the characteristics that give each substance a unique identity. So, properties of matter allow us to distinguish between substances and classify them, can reveal the identity of unknown substance, and it is divided into two groups, which is the physical properties and chemical properties. Physical property defined as a characteristic that can be observed or measured without changing the identity or composition of the substance. So, for example, the color, the odor, the taste, the size, the physical state, liquid, gas, or solid, boiling point, melting point, and the density. Physical properties used to describe matter can be classified as extensive and intensive. So the extensive depends on the amount of matter in the sample. For example, the mass, volume, and the length. The intensive depends on the type of matter, not the amount percent. So for example, the hardness or density and the boiling point. So extensive versus intensive. So the extensive properties depend on the amount of matter percent or the mass, volume, length, height, amount of energy and each. So the intensive properties is do not depend on the amount of matter percent. So for example is the density, boiling point, melting point, color, ability to conduct electricity and each. So let's proceed to the chemical properties defined as ability or inability of a substance to combine with or change into one or more other substances. So is the ability of a substance to undergo a chemical reaction. So, for example, the charcoal burning in the air, the iron rust, and decomposition of wood. So, chemical properties consider terms such as burn, root, rust, decompose, ferment, explode, oxidize, corrode, grow, precipitate, gas formation, and digest. So these classify each as a physical or chemical property. So iron and oxygen form rust. Iron is more dense than aluminum. So the magnesium burns brightly when ignited. Oil and water do not mix. And mercury melts at negative 39 degrees Celsius. So this is the states of matter. So you can see the pictures, which is the formation of the solid and the liquid and the gas. Solid. So the characteristic of the solid has a definite shape and volume. True solids have very rigid, ordered structures in fixed positions and high density. So the atoms held tightly together, therefore incompressible, and atoms move through vibration only, therefore small thermal expansion. Liquids has a definite volume. Atoms are not widely separated, so therefore high density and small compressibility. So there has no definite shape, follows the shape of its container, and atoms move rapidly enough to slide over one another and ability to flow. So it has a small thermal expansion. Gases, also known as vapor, no fixed volume or shape, conforms to the volume and shape of its container. So the atoms far apart and low density and can be compressed, moving at high speeds, colliding with container moderate thermal expansion. So the summary of my report is matter is anything that has mass and takes up space. So it has the composition and properties, the types and amounts of atoms that make up a sample of matter, and that is composition, the characteristics that give each substance a unique identity, that is properties. So the properties divided into two groups, the physical and the chemical properties. So thank you for listening.